Well, welcome to our Q&A today for CU Denver. My name is Sharita Thompson. I am Senior Admission Counselor with the Undergraduate Office of Admissions.
Hi everyone, my name is Christy Heaton and I am the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Transitions and Family Engagement. Welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Sletland. I'm the International Recruitment and Enrollment Coordinator in the Office of International Admissions, and I'm able to answer any questions today related to the international application and enrollment process, especially relating to the new rules that came out from SEBP, as well as any questions from US students who have international transcripts. Welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Naomi. I'm a student ambassador here at CU Denver. I'm also a second-year student. I'm studying international studies and entrepreneurship, and I can answer any questions related to the student experience on campus, student life. If you have any questions too about being an international student and living at Lynx Crossing on campus, I can answer those as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Hoff and I'm the Operation Coordinator for the New Student Orientation Office, and I can answer any questions in regards to orientation and prep week.
Hello everyone, hope you are doing safe and well. My name is Ray Morales and I am a Financial Aid Advisor here at CU Denver. More than happy to answer any questions regarding the FAFSA, student loans, grants, scholarships, all that good stuff to help you pay for school.
Hi everybody, my name is Tirza Watts. I'm the Director of Student Life and Campus Community. I'll be answering any questions you have about finding your niche on campus. That includes student organizations, leadership programs, community service and volunteering, and I also work with our student government and newspaper if you have any questions about those groups.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Tina, and I bring you greetings from the Housing and Dining Office. We're excited to have you, and I am more than welcome to answer any questions that you have about housing or dining.
Hey, everybody. Gabriel Castano here. I'm Assistant Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management, and we have an amazing team assembled, as you've seen, and some other of our admissions experts behind the scenes are here to help and answer any questions you've got. So hit us with your best shot, let us know what you need, and we will be happy to get those answers for you.
Thanks. So the first question that we have is the app still open for fall, and what are the deadlines? So Sharita Thompson again in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions, and I can answer admission questions. And so the fall application is still open. It will close the first week of August, and the app for the next upcoming year will also open in August. The next question that we have is, what does the class schedule look like for in-person classes? So I am going to pass this over to Gabe to talk a little bit more about our safe return.
Absolutely. Great question. And the answer is, it really depends on your major, your schedule. If you're a first-time student coming to our institution, or perhaps if you're a transfer student coming from another, your schedule might vary. We have many of our courses that we're going to be offering fully remote or through an online modality. We have nearly 700 courses that will offer some on-campus component, and that can be either a fully on-campus course or a course that's offered in a hybrid modality where you may have some of your classes meeting on campus and others that are meeting remotely through Canvas or through Zoom or some other online modality. As an institution, we're taking every step possible to make sure that our faculty, staff, and students are safe in these uncertain times. But I can say that we're also ready to react. And so if we have to move to a fully remote environment, we might be able to do that. But we're right now setting up so that students have the ability to take some of their classes in person if that's so what they desire. priority registration are going to our new students so that you have the opportunity to get some of those classes. For students that are enrolling or have enrolled, there will be another session that's hosted by our Safe Return team on August 4th. And then you can go to that session to get more detailed information about the Safe Return plan. So we have the information to answer some kind of high level questions now, but more detailed questions about exactly what Safe Return, exactly what classes you're in. I would defer to the Safe Return webinar on August 4th. We can make sure to get you that information.
Thanks so much, Gabe. For our next question, the question is, if I'm not living on campus, how can I get involved in student life? So I'm going to pass this over to Tierza.
You can absolutely get involved in student life. All student organizations will be having their meetings and events online this year. So you can be living on the other side of the country, enrolled at CU Denver, and still participate in a club. We have 131 groups as of this afternoon who have registered to be recognized as a student organization this year. And so that does include student clubs that are run by students. It also includes departments like my own that are doing events. I have recently loaded about 25 different events into our website that I want all of you to check out. It's called MyLynx. So if you simply Google MYLYNX, you will go to the student engagement web platform, and there you can research all 130 groups. We'll be doing training with all of those student presidents so that they're ready to go to have their club meetings virtually. There will be campus activities, things such as arts events, etc., that are still being produced by CU Denver Live, as well as our campus activities student team. And those will also be done online. So we have some very active YouTube channels where we put stuff out. We use Facebook Live and Instagram Live. So you just need to figure out what you want to go to, register for it so that you either get the Zoom link or a link for a live virtual platform.
The next question a student has is, can first-year students live at home? And I'm going to pass this over to Tina.
Yes, first-year students can live home, but we strongly encourage them to think about living on campus as our application is still open. It is at a wait list stance, but we're going to do everything possible to get you on campus if you truly want to live on campus. So the answer to the question is, yes, first-year students can live at home, but we really want you to live on campus if that's something that your heart desires.
So we had another question about safe return. Will classes remain online for the first semester given the current situation? And Gabe did touch on this a little bit, but it seems like we have a little bit more curiosity from our prospective students. So Gabe, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, sure. I'd say, depending on your major, the best thing you can do is have a conversation with one of our advisors. That can be in the Center for Undergraduate Exploration in the Q&A department. It could also be with an advisor from your college and school. And we want to help create a schedule for you that is going to make you feel comfortable and fits you and your family's needs. And so if you want to be in an environment where all of your classes are remote or online, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to create a schedule for you that way. If you'd like to have some that are going to be in person or on campus, that's also going to be an option. As I said, we'll have nearly 700 courses that will have some on-campus component for this upcoming fall.
Perfect. We have a financial aid question for Ray. When is the last date for financial aid? When is the late date for financial aid? Sorry.
No problem, Shrita. Thank you for the clarification. That's a really good question. You have until June 30th to apply for financial aid. And I'm talking about June 30th of 2021. However, tuition is due September 4th for the fall. So you kind of want to have your financial aid good and submitted by then. If you haven't already completed a FAFSA, there is still time to do so. You just go to fafsa.gov, complete the application using 2018 taxes, and just be sure to follow up with it within a week or so just to make sure that there's nothing else to submit. If not, we still have state and institutional aid that we are awarding to students at this point still. So it is good to try and tap into that funding before it does run out. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't done so already, just go ahead and submit the FAFSA. You're still making some pretty good timing. And then hopefully we can get it in by tuition deadline.
So we have a couple more financial aid questions. So one of them is, can we see what scholarships that we get? And how can I get help looking into financial aid and scholarships?
Awesome. So scholarships, you will definitely be notified via email if you've been selected for those or not. I would definitely encourage you to still just go in through the UCD Access portal and apply for anything and everything that you see in there, because there still could be some scholarships that are left that you can apply for. As far as getting help into looking into the financial aid, you can definitely schedule an appointment online on our website. We have both phone and Zoom appointments available, or you can just go ahead and give us a call and we can try and get things worked out over the phone. I would encourage you to look at the to-do list through the UCD Access portal. If there's anything in that to-do list that pertains to financial aid, you might want to try taking care of those first. And once those are taken care of, if you haven't been able to see your awards, then you should be able to see them. It is located through the UCD Access portal from the Student Center by clicking Financial Aid, and then accept or decline awards. If you don't see anything there, then you might want to refer to the to-do list to see if there's anything you might need to submit to our office.
Awesome, thanks, Ray. So we're going to switch gears just a little bit and talk about orientation. So orientation is the next step after admission. Once you decide that you want to apply or to come to CU Denver. And so the question is, how does orientation work and what's the process?
Yep, I can answer that question. So orientation is definitely the next step that you'll want to complete if you're attending in the fall semester. And so for first year students, it's a two-part process. And so your first part will be your advising day. That's when you're going to be meeting with your academic advisor and registering for your classes. And that second part is the student success day, where you're going to be learning about getting involved on campus, your campus resources that are available to you, and also meeting your peers. And then for transfer students, slightly different. It's also a two-part process. Your first part is your advising day, where you're going to also be meeting with your academic advisor and registering for your classes. And then that second part are online orientation modules. And so you'll be completing those as your second part. And then for signing up for orientation, you're going to actually do that through your application status page. And so where you're going in to reply to your offer for admissions, that's also where you're going to see a next step checklist item for your new student orientation. So once you reply, you'll see that checklist, you'll go through the form, and you'll all be signed up for orientation. If you're struggling or need help getting signed up, definitely reach out to our office and we can help you through that process as well.
Thanks, Nicole. And if a student signs up for orientation and misses that registered orientation date, what should they do next?
Yeah, they should definitely reach out to our office and we can help you get rescheduled for a new date. And our email is just orientation@ucdenver.edu.
The next question is, can you talk a little bit about sustainability at CU Denver? So I would like to open it up to the panelists if anyone wants to answer that question.
I can hit it from the student perspective. Student government has done a lot of work with sustainability. This past spring, in April, they passed legislation within their group that student organizations would have to follow a green policy. And so when we're back meeting in person and we have events, they'll have to use sustainable practices to purchase things for food events, such as compostable silverware and plates, things like that. The Student Advisory Board to the Aurora campus is another student government group. It's called SACAB for short. And so that has two representatives from student government from the Community College of Denver, Metropolitan State University of Denver, and University of Colorado Denver. So all three schools have reps and they do a lot with sustainability. They're partnered with the AHEC Campus Sustainability Program. And so that group is funded by student fees. And so they've done things like put solar panels on the top of the library. There is a green garden on campus. I'm not sure where it's located. They've been doing all kinds of things with funding sustainability-oriented projects. So students are very tuned into that. I don't know if anyone else can address from the staff side with our physical plant, but I do know that students are very focused on sustainability.
Yeah, I'd be happy to add a little bit about that. This is something that is important to CU Denver as an institution, and it's not something that's new. This has been a sustainability plan has been in place since about, I believe, 2008. I know a climate action plan was created in 2010 with a focus specifically to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, with a focus on reducing by 20% by 2020. And here we are. We've actually reduced 38% since 2006. Our energy use index, which is commonly known as an EUI, we've had a 48% reduction since 2006 on that, as well as conservation on water use on campus, which has had about a 9% reduction. So these are things that we've been working on for about 15 years, but really focused for the last 10. We have LEED certified buildings that we are building. Most recently, our Student Commons building from 2014. Robin Lola Salazar Health and Wellness Center is LEED certified, which opened in 2018. And our new first-year student housing, City Heights, will be a LEED certified construction as well, and that will be opening in 2021. So from a facilities management perspective, these are things that are absolutely important to us, and down to the details. So, you know, LED lighting, retrofit projects, that type of thing. So, you know, natural gas purchasing strategies. There's quite a few things that are in place with relation to making sure that our campus is and remains sustainable for our students and our community.
Can I add one more interesting example of how students have taken action? The SACAB group with representatives from all 3 institutions helped fund a machine that kills weeds with steam instead of using pesticides. And so it was a rather expensive machine, but over time it's going to save us tons of money and it's going to really save our environment.
Thank you for that. Gabe, would you mind answering the next question, which is how long will we be expecting to take courses online before on-campus classes open back up?
Well, depending on the schedule that you make, you can take some online on-campus classes at the beginning of the semester. So August 17th, when we start, there are some classes that will be running in person. How long before we all go back to a majority of those? I wish I had that answer. Like all institutions nationwide, we're trying to plan for the best and also be prepared for the worst case scenario, so that we can react quickly if we needed to do that and to offer more of our classes online. But like everyone else, we would love to get back to campus. That would be great. And we do have some options for you, really depending on your schedule. And you know, hopefully it's within this year that we can really start getting more and more classes that will be offered in person. But as much as we want to do that, of course, safety is the number one concern.
So we have a question for Emma in international admissions. What is the international admission process and how can international students apply for scholarships?
Yeah, great questions. So the application for fall 2024 international students is still open. So you can still apply, but definitely encourage you to do that as soon as possible, just because for international students, there are a couple additional steps once you're admitted, and we want to make sure you have enough time to do that. So to apply, you'll need to submit the online application. You'll need to submit your high school transcripts, and that varies a little bit depending on what country you're from. So it's the equivalent of high school in your country, whatever that means. So for example, in India, we would need your grade 10 and grade 12 board results. And we actually have a feature on our website where you can search for exactly which documents are required from your country, or you can just reach out to our office. We're happy to help you figure out exactly which documents we need. And those all can be submitted unofficially right now and electronically. And then the final piece we need is proof of English language proficiency. So the most common tests for that are going to be IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo. The Duolingo is a great alternative right now. If you haven't been able to take your TOEFL or your IELTS exam, you can do it online from your home. It's very affordable, it's very quick and easy. So that's what you need to apply. And then once you're admitted, you will need to fill out something called the immigration clearance form. And we will work with you from there. Scholarships. So unfortunately, the deadline for our general international student scholarship for fall 2020 has passed, but we do have open right now the application for our special LYNX online scholarship. And this was specifically for international students who intended to come to campus in person this fall, but were not able to due to COVID-related reasons. And if you choose to take classes online this fall, we're offering a $5,000 scholarship for undergraduates and $2,500 for graduates. And the deadline for that is actually tomorrow, Tuesday, July 28th. So if you are eligible for that scholarship, you have received an email about it, and you just need to reply to that form to claim your scholarship. So please take a look at that and complete that by tomorrow, and you can reach out to International Admissions if you have any questions.
Also wanted to add on to that a little bit as well. We do have what's called an alternate aid form, and this form is going to do exactly what a FAFSA does, is it's going to determine your eligibility for need-based aid, such as scholarships. So once you complete this alternate aid application form with our office in the financial aid, then that will give you the eligibility to go in and apply for other scholarships through our Scholarship Universe platform, which is accessible through the UCD Access portal. It'll basically just have that expected family contribution that the FAFSA gives you, and it's that component that determines the student's eligibility for these scholarships. So international and Daca students, this will be a great form for you guys to complete. That way you can get that need-based eligibility determined to see about applying for those scholarships through our Scholarship Universe platform.
Awesome. And we do have our wonderful student ambassador, Naomi, on as one of the panelists who is also an international student. So Naomi, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yes, I think Emma explained the international admissions process very well. The only thing that I would add is, you know, after you are admitted is usually the toughest part with applying for a visa. And I received a lot of help in applying for my visa. Every time I had questions, I would just call the international affairs. And so definitely, you can definitely rely on that office to help you through the whole process.
Thank you. So Ray, we have another question for you. What is the difference between a FAFSA and a financial aid award letter?
Thank you, Sharita. Great question. So the FAFSA is the application for loans, grants, scholarships, all that good stuff. The financial aid award letter is basically the award letter that we give to students at the institutional level that lets them know what types of aid that they have. The FAFSA, when you submit that application, you're going to get a confirmation page. And on that confirmation page, it might tell you as far as what you're eligible for, but that's only pertaining to federal aid. The award letter will reflect not only federal aid, but state and institutional, as well as any scholarships that the student has earned. So once you get that financial aid award letter, it's going to tell you exactly what you have for each semester and what types of aid that you have, as well as steps on how to accept or deny any of those types of aid. So once you get that award letter, you know that you're good and set for school.
Perfect. The next question is, do students receive any discounts on software or around the city? And also, do CU Denver students have any benefits on other CU Denver campuses? So I will add that we do have a lot of discounts for our students within the city, because CU Denver is part of downtown Denver, and we feel so connected to the city. There are a lot of opportunities for students to have student discounts or student perks around the city. So for example, we're surrounded by our sports franchises. So we have discounts for Nuggets games and Rockies nights and Avalanche games. And we also have discounts for students, like for restaurants or different activities around the city. And we also have software discounts for students. So through our Auraria bookstore, students can get discounted software and things for their technology. Is there anyone else who wants to add to this question?
Student Life actually helps maintain that website that has all those discounts. So if students want to visit the Student Finances website, you can search discounts and deals, and you hit a lot of the right categories. So arts and entertainment, there's auto and transportation discounts, fitness, food and dining, retail, travel and hotel. And so I've put a link that hopefully they can send out in the primary chat for the audience.
And then I just wanted to add on to that as well. Through your webmail as a student, you can actually download like Word, Excel, PowerPoint as well. So definitely check that out. And you can reach out to OIT if you're having any issues downloading those.
Perfect. So the next question is about that admission process. So at CU Denver, we do have our separate application, but this upcoming year, we are also going to be on the Common App. And so students can fill out the Common App or the application that is found at CU Denver's website. After students apply, then we will ask for academic information. So if students have attended previous high school or previous college, we will look for those transcripts. We would also look for test scores if they're available. We are test optional for the students who have graduated in 2020 and 2021. And so we will work with each student individually if you do not have test scores to provide. But CU Denver does admit on an academic basis. So with our application, you are not required to provide letters of recommendation or a personal essay. So we will be looking at your academics for that admission decision. So as much information that you can provide would be beneficial for the application. We have a rolling deadline, and so 2 to 3 weeks after you apply, you will receive your admission decision. And then at that point, you can accept your offer of admission and then register for orientation. The requirements are going to be based off of academics. So we want to make sure that students are prepared academically to succeed at CU Denver. But again, we will work with students on an individual basis. This process is the same for veterans, but we do have veteran and military student services. So something that makes CU Denver very unique is that we really invest in our student support services, and we have a lot of resources for students to ensure that they are successful when they do attend CU Denver. So one of those resources that we offer to students is veteran and military student services, and they will help you with all of the forms that you need for like GI Bills or to get your credits transferred or to get any type of military transcripts. So they're a great resource for our students, and they really help with the application process.
Add on a little bit to the
Sure.
students receiving the GI Bill as far as veterans are concerned. We do get a lot of questions as far as if they can also apply for financial aid. And that is a yes. You will still be able to get both the GI Bill and any type of aid that you would qualify for when you submit the FAFSA application.
I also want to add a little bit about our pathway programs. So at CU Denver, we do have a number of pathway programs. You may hear them referred to as a 4+1 or some type of pathway. And that is where students can get their graduate degree within 5 years or whatever the program, within a less extended time than to get a bachelor's and a master's separately. So you can research those programs, and then you would work really closely with your academic advisor to see if that's a good program that would fit your program and how you would then plan that out over the next 5 years. But those are options if you know that you're looking for a master's degree that CU Denver offers.
And also as far as the financial perspective of it, for those programs, the pathway programs where you would start off with a bachelor's and end with a master's, you will be awarded differently as far as your classification, because financial aid does go based off of classification. So at the time that you're going to be an undergraduate, you will be able to receive undergraduate aid. But at the time that you transition to a master's student, then at that point, the only thing that you would be eligible for would be student loans on top of any scholarships that you might have applied for. Any grant eligibility, such as Pell Grant or state and institutional grants, unfortunately does get canceled out and replaced with the loans once the transition to grad does happen. So scholarships, scholarships, scholarships.
Perfect. Nicole, we have a question for you. What is the experience like for transfer students in the beginning of the year? And what activities are there to meet students? Do you have a special orientation?
Yep, so I can answer all those questions. So all of our transfer students will go through our specific transfer orientation process, like I mentioned earlier. So that two-part process, first year advising day, and then your online orientation modules. So that would be very specific to transfer students. And then also, Emily Maroney in our transfer initiatives department is putting on some workshops through the first couple weeks of the semester for her transfer students to get involved, to meet folks. And some of those areas are going to be like Lynx Connect, where our study abroad, undergraduate research, our healthy eating are some of the topics, student involvement, our LRC, which is our Learning Resources Center, which is tutoring. She's going to have a lot of different work to meet others. And then we also have our prep week events. And so we definitely have those the week before the semester starts. So August 10th through the 14th is those prep week events. And we have our first and Link Strong event. And then we have our Connected Campus. And then we have Playfair. So those are some events that you also can do as well to get involved and meet some of your peers before the semester even starts.
I can give a little more detail about that prep week. I think for students who are really concerned about how in the heck do I make friends when everything's on the computer, it's absolutely possible. My department, along with several other departments, including Nicole's, have partnered together to put on events starting on Thursday, August 13th. That day twice, 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. You just select one time. You can attend an involvement conference. It's called Connect to Campus, and there'll be lots of folks talking to you, lots of students coming in to talk to you about how do you get connected to others and use different services on campus as well as getting involved. That evening at 7 o'clock is Playfair, which Nicole just mentioned. This is a fantastic online crazy icebreaker program. They can have up to 1,000 students in this one Zoom meeting. And the videos I've seen, I know it's going to be hysterical and lots of good fun. So we definitely want you to register and log in for Playfair at 7 p.m. on August 13th. And then after that, offices like mine are going to host programs and events for you to get involved to meet people. An example is that we're hosting meetup groups this year. If you know anyone who has graduated from college and moved to a new city, some of the things they do is they do these meetup groups. So sometimes it's around a theme like, I like coffee. And so you meet up with people who also like coffee and you go and investigate all the coffee shops in town. For virtual land this year, we'll have meetup groups where people can get connected over different themes of interest and also just to meet people, to come and hang out. So we'll offer multiple times, multiple days a week. If you're like, I just want to meet somebody new today, you'll be able to log into these appointments and make a new friend.
And then I just wanted to add one more thing. We also have our FYE, so our first year experience classes that are offered in the fall semester, which are smaller class sizes. They're great opportunity to be able to meet your peers. And they also have a PAL, which is a peer mentor that's in your class that can also help you get connected to the university. So I definitely would recommend looking at those. You can look up the FYE guide on our website. Or you can reach out to our FYE office and they can definitely help you get into one of those class options as well.
I can also add that student organizations are still happening at CU Denver. So every student organization is trying to figure out how they're going to be able to operate during the fall and online, and you can still join them. I know in some of the clubs that I'm in, we're just trying to figure out how everything is going to work. We're already planning events and ways to meet up online. So definitely look out for those.
Thank you. Ray, we have a question about scholarships and financial aid. So will my scholarships and grants from financial aid change based off of my GPA?
So scholarships and grants will definitely adjust, but only to enrollment. So if you're full-time, as far as grant eligibility is concerned, you'll be able to get the full amount. If you go half-time, it'll be prorated to 50%, so you get half of it. As far as GPA is concerned, you'll have a range where you can let it fluctuate. However, for undergraduates, you must maintain a 2.0 GPA, and graduates must maintain a 3.0 GPA. At any point when in the year when grades post and your GPA does fall below that measurement, there is a warning semester in which you'll still be able to receive financial aid. However, you have that semester to bring up that GPA. So when the next semester's grades post during your warning term, if the GPA goes above where it's supposed to be, awesome. If not, then at that point, you're going to be suspended and you would have to submit an appeal to get reinstated. So you will get a warning before any of that happens, but would just ensure that it at least stays above that 2.0 as undergrad and 3.0 as a grad.
The next question is, what steps have been taken to make sure my online education is worth the cost? Why should I not just wait until campus is 100% in person to take classes? And I will pass this over to Gabe.
So, good question. One of the first things I'll say is that CU Denver is not new to online education. This is an area of expertise for us, and we offer many of our programs in a fully online modality for students, even in normal times. And so I can say that many of our classes have been optimized for an online environment. Our faculty members know how to really engage with students in this environment and really cater to different learning styles and different modalities. Even in normal times, many of our students will take online classes because it just better fits with their schedule. If they're working a part-time job or even just want to be available for a certain club or organization. And so it's very common for our students to at least take some portion of their classes online, again, even in normal times. And so what we want to do is make sure that you're able to have the co-curricular activities alongside with your academics, because that's really what this is about. It's about learning outside of the classroom, and it's about the experience that you have when you come to school here at CU Denver. As Tierza explained, there's a lot of opportunities for you to continue to engage with your classmates and with your peers and with your faculty members and staff and different key people and units around campus. So we want to make sure that it's not just what happens in the classroom, but that your experience is really awesome this fall. And we're not going to sugarcoat it or lie to you. We're learning too. I mean, it is going to be a little bit different, but you're going to be going through that process with lots of other new students that are joining us for the first time and all the other students that are here on campus that are continuing on with their educational journey. But the fact of the matter is that if you postpone your education, that's a decision that you have to make that's right for you and for your family. And so some students are doing that. Most are going to continue to move forward. We know that research shows that students that have any sort of a gap, that's not a real planned gap, it's really difficult to kind of keep that momentum and get back on it and start and continue your studies as you move forward. So best practice and the best suggestion that we can give you is to either continue or to start your education without that gap so that you can get done as quickly as possible. But we are absolutely spending a lot of time, effort, and planning into making sure that the experience in and out of the classroom is really going to be worth your time this fall. Tierza, anything else you'd like to add?
I definitely think that you're right, that when people take a gap, sometimes it's hard to find that motivation again. We have spent not only the end of the spring semester figuring out how to quickly pivot, I think we did an exceptional job. And so I'm just very excited about what we have planned for the fall. And I think that if you give it a shot, even though this is a unique and different way to learn, if you're not used to doing remote learning, you are going to make friends. You are going to find that you're going to connect with people, because again, when you're in class remote, you're going to see the same people over and over again. I always challenge students to join at least 2 clubs. And as Naomi said, they're definitely making plans. Those 2 clubs I want you to think about joining so you get connected is one that is sheer fun. It's just a group of people that you enjoy. And so check out something you're interested and curious about. And the second one is join an organization related to your major or future career area. I would say, if I had to take a rough guess, that about 2/3 of our organizations are academic based. So they're related. It's the biology club, it's future doctors, future nurses, whatever it is. We have some engineering clubs that do all kinds of interesting project things. So, give it a try. We hope that you'll take that opportunity this year to just try something interesting.
So the next question is from Ms. Tina in housing. What is being done in housing and dining to ensure residents will be safe? And what will happen if there's an outbreak in the dorms? Can students get a refund or move out if their roommate catches COVID or they're not being safe?
Oh gosh, thanks, Sharita. That's a loaded question. Well, to answer the first question, our leadership team has put tons of things together to make sure that our students are going to be safe back on campus. And so, for example, in our resident hall itself, we're going to be checking temperatures every single day. We're going to make sure that our students have bands to make sure that everyone is wearing a mask around campus, in the resident facility itself. We're going to do lots of virtual programs along with many other departments on campus to make sure that students can still feel safe and have fun outside of the classroom as well. Again, we're actively working every single day to make sure that our handbook and our protocols follow all the CDC and health guidelines currently. I think I got all your questions. I think the second question was asking me what if there's an outbreak in the hall. We do have quarantine rooms set aside that if and when we have to utilize them, we do have a protocol in place. Our assistant director, Sarah Ledger, did a really great job putting together some protocols if indeed we do need to use those if there is an outbreak in one of the resident halls. And then your last question is, will students receive a refund? Unfortunately, I can't say for sure that students will receive a refund. What I do know is that students have in the past received a refund, but I'm not really sure what the university's decision is as far as if indeed we will utilize giving back any money for housing and dining.
Thanks so much, Tina. The next question is, what is WUI? How do you know how would a student know if they qualify? And is there an additional application needed to be submitted? So WUI is the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program. CU Denver does participate with WUI, and there is a number of Western states that students can be a resident of, and will then, if they come to CU Denver, will pay 150% of in-state tuition, which is significantly lower than out-of-state tuition. So at CU Denver, if you are from one of those states that are a part of the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program, then you will automatically be awarded that tuition rate. You can opt out of the WUI exchange rate if you are looking to gain residency, or if for whatever reason you want to pay the out-of-state tuition rate. But that is an opt-out process. So to make it easy for our students that are coming from those WUI states, we automatically give you the WUI tuition, which is 100% of in-state, not including the Colorado Opportunity Fund.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, we do get a lot of questions in financial aid as far as it doesn't appear on my award letter, it doesn't appear in the bill. Since it is a discounted tuition rate, you're just going to be billed at that rate. So it's not necessarily a financial aid award or whatnot. So it's not going to show up on the award letter, neither does the COF. It's more of it affecting the bill directly. So you'll just be seeing that discounted rate on the bill.
So the next question I'm going to open up to the panelists. How has CU Denver supported Black and Brown students, especially with everything going on in society right now? And does the police force on campus use violent force?
I can talk a little bit about that. I'm part of the Black Student Alliance on campus, and that is a group that is really focused on creating a safe place for Black students on campus and creating community among us, and also teaching the rest of the campus population about Black issues. And so I found that I've gained a lot of support in that group. And so if you're coming to CU Denver, I would totally recommend to be a part of the Black Student Alliance. Also, there have been, I know the Ethnic Studies Department has created social justice teach-ins, and this is to help you figure out how can you be part of social change, what are the things that you can do to support Black and Brown people, and yeah, so those are two things that I've seen so far.
I would echo that those teach-ins have been an important response by the university. Those will be offered once a month moving forward. One of the partner offices with that teach-in program is the Center for Identity and Inclusion. That center specifically supports 4 different student groups. So Black students, Latina students, Native American students, and I'm having a brain fart. Can anyone else help me? What is the 4th group?
Asian American students.
Thank you, Asian American students. Sorry, Soyan. And so they do some really tremendous support programs for students, educational programs for the campus community. They are definitely a home for students on campus for support, as well as connecting with others. Naomi, you are spot on. There's lots of student organizations out there that I think become a home on campus for students that are Black and Brown identified. I would also add that there are offices like mine that do a variety of programs. So for instance, we have a leadership program called LEAP. And it teaches, it's an 11-week program, and it's about the social change model of leadership. And so we really take an intact group of students that want to work together for 11 weeks to really learn about what's a change I want to make, and what do I need to know about myself as a leader, what do I need to know about effectively working with other people, and then what's the change I want to make, how do I make change, and who's the society or the community that I'm serving in that. So there's programs like that where you can meet folks that are like-minded. I would also share that our department this school year is going to be sponsoring a program called Deliberative Dialogues, where students can sign up and participate in an hour-and-a-half long conversation about some of these big societal issues. Our first one actually is on September 10th, and it is about safety and justice, which I think is probably the root of this question. And so students get put into groups to talk about 3 different perspectives. Safety and justice is what's called a wicked problem, and that's part of going to college, is learning how to have dialogue and listen to others' stories, figure out what are my values about these wicked problems, and how can I be part of solution making. So there will be support for you.
And quickly to address the question about Auraria Police. The Auraria Police serves the entire Auraria campus. So it is a tri-institutional campus, which makes it pretty unique. In fact, it's the only tri-institutional campus in the country. And ACPD remains committed to creating an inclusive and welcoming campus environment. And I know that this is a very important topic of conversation that's taking place amongst all of the institutions here at the Auraria campus, and working very closely with the leadership of the campus police. They issued a statement in early June specifically around how ACPD was appalled by the indefensible use of force and lack of intervention by officers that led to the situation in Minneapolis, as well as many others across our country and even nearby here in Aurora. And so this is something that is a very, very kind of important and relevant topic of conversation to make sure that they're undergoing legitimate training and procedures on how to handle incidents. But this is something that we are very, very focused on as an institution, to make sure that CU Denver is, a safe, inclusive, and welcoming campus environment for all of our students, but especially for those Black and Brown students that you mentioned in the question.
And just to add a little bit more to the question, we had an additional question about the supports for Daca students on campus. So if any of our panelists want to address resources for our Daca students.
Yeah, so in my earlier response to this question, I talked about the Center for Identity and Inclusion. It's part of a larger office called the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and there is a unit within that called Undocumented Student Services. And so they do have dedicated staff members there to support Dreamers.
And I also wanted to add as well that for the DACA students, that alternate aid form is great for you all as well, so you can get that need-based eligibility determined so as to apply for additional scholarships that are located through our Scholarship Universe platform.
Awesome, Ray. This transitions well into the next question about what does EFC mean? Is this how much I need to pay out of pocket? And can I get help when applying for scholarships?
Awesome question. So EFC stands for Expected Family Contribution. Sounds very confusing, right? Because what else is financial aid for but to confuse you? This, although the terminology may seem like it's asking you to pay, it's not. This is basically the number that both the FAFSA and that alternate aid form, it's gonna take all of the variables that you've answered on your FAFSA, which is income, household size, everything that you answered, there's like a behind the scenes formula that goes into calculating this EFC. So this EFC, once it gives it to you, is just the number that determines what type of aid that you qualify for. So there's like different thresholds. So from 0 to 6,000 means you can probably get state, institutional, and Pell Grant. The higher the number goes, the less of that need-based eligibility that you qualify for. So the goal is to get it to 0 because that means you qualify for the max. But with all the information that the FAFSA gets, it derives this EFC number, and that's what's going to determine, okay, what kind of loans am I eligible for? So when we get the award letter, it's going to be on there, but it's going to also have like all the types of other aid that you're eligible for as far as those grants. And it also comes into play when you are applying for scholarships. The cost of attendance, I know this might seem a little bit confusing, so hopefully I get this point on point, but it's basically a mathematical formula. So the cost of attendance that the Department of Ed comes up with, which is the amount that they think you need to spend for school, minus this EFC is what grants you that need-based eligibility. So for example, if your cost of attendance is $20,000 and your EFC is $5,000, then you basically qualify for $15,000 worth of need-based eligibility, which comes from grants, scholarships, all that good stuff. Hope I didn't confuse you guys more with that, but no, it just does not mean that's what you have to pay out of pocket. It just helps determine what type of aid you qualify for.
Thank you. So I want to let everyone know that we have about 7 or 8 minutes left on our live event. And so please get your last minute questions in. But the next question that we have is for Nicole, and it is, how do I get assigned an advisor and know the classes I should be taking?
Yes, so during your orientation process on that first part, you're going to be attending an advising day. You'll actually be meeting with your academic advisor, and they'll help you pick what classes and discuss your options for the fall semester. That way you don't have to do it by yourself or anything like that. And then we'll also have our orientation leaders help you go through the registration process. So by the time you leave our session at the end, you'll be registered for your fall classes and all set. So if you have any questions or want to reach out to our office, we can definitely help you get that process started.
So can someone speak to what are 5-week sessions or a Maymester, and can anyone sign up for those type of classes? Well, I can speak to it a little bit. I have taken a Maymester before. Maymester is where you can complete a full 3-credit course in the month of May. And so it's very intensive. It's every day, pretty much for the entire day for those 3 to 4 weeks. And anyone can sign up for them. So there are specific classes that you would take that are offered for Maymester. I took a statistics class, which I would not recommend maybe a math class during a Maymester just because it is so condensed. But it is a way where students can knock out a 3-credit course before they even take summer classes. So this can be taken in addition to summer classes as well.
And I'll just add on to that, in normal times, when travel resumes again, CU Denver also has a lot of study abroad Maymester courses, which are a really great way to fit in a study abroad experience in just a few weeks. If you aren't able to take off a whole semester or summer to study abroad, you can still get that experience and get those credits. So look for those in the future.
And so for our closing question, we're going to go around to all the panelists. And the question is, why should I attend CU Denver? So I will start first. And I recommend students attend CU Denver. I am an alum, and so I'm a little bit biased, but I really appreciate the academics that CU Denver provides right in the heart of downtown Denver. So I was a commuter student, but I was also a resident assistant at the dorms. And so I like CU Denver because it was so unique with being in the city and learning right in the city. I didn't feel like I had to go out of state or to a big college. I found the things that I needed right here in the backyard of Denver, which is at CU Denver.
And I can go next. So I'm also alum of CU Denver, so it's also close to my heart as well. But I also was a transfer student, and so I started my career somewhere else. And then once I came to CU Denver, I really realized all the support that was available to me to actually finish my degree, because that was something I did not think that was going to be possible after my first experience.
I can go ahead and go next. I'm a student as well, so I came from out of state, and it's pretty much a city guide, and it's great. Being everything right here is centralized, and on everything is on hand. And from the admission staff to the faculty to everyone in between, have just been greeted so warmly. It's such a great atmosphere. Everyone's kind, they're generous, they're willing to get you anything that you need to get you going as far as help is concerned.
I can go next. I am not an alum of CU Denver. I actually moved here about 16 months ago from North Carolina, so I'm from the other side of the United States. This is the 6th university I've worked at over a 30-year career, and Ray is spot on. This is a super welcoming place. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here. And I think for students who are looking to get connected to, we have great student employment opportunities, and we really didn't touch on that at any point. You also can have some great work experiences on campus, and so I think that's another neat hallmark about our institution.
I can go next. I would definitely say that the resident halls, living on campus, is one of the best experiences you'll have at CU Denver. I think what we provide outside of the classroom is like no other. We have a great group of professional staff, and we have a great group of student employees that work alongside us that really, truly make the experience. You will, the resident halls will be your home away from home. So I definitely encourage, if you haven't applied, apply, as we're still on the waitlist stance. Get on and apply to live on campus.
I can go next and share one of the most common reasons our international students choose CU Denver is our employment outcomes, because that is a really big consideration for international students, and just being in the heart of the city and having all of those connections to local businesses and employers. That's a huge draw for international students. And I'd love to hear from Naomi, one of our international students, about why she chose CU Denver.
Yeah, that is definitely spot on. All those opportunities that come with CU Denver. I was really surprised by all the things that I was able to do, you know, right when I came, and all the support that I got with getting a job and also seeking different opportunities to grow, whether it's through student clubs and organizations or different activities around Denver. Being an international student, I feel like Denver is a really good transition to the US because it's not too big, it's not too small, and the university gives you so much support with that transition.
And I'll close it out by saying that as a current student as well, I chose CU for several reasons. One of them is how diverse all of my classes are. Another is the connection to the city. And another is that I really wanted the University of Colorado on my degree when I graduated. One of the things that I think is so awesome about CU Denver is that there really is something for everyone. We have students that live on campus that have had an amazing experience, as Tina said, in the res halls. We have lots of students that commute to campus and they have a really great community as well and are still able to engage with student life. And there's so many great connections to graduate programs and connections to industry through our Lynx Connect and Career Services office. Being right here in the city, it's really an incredible way to parlay your education into a worthwhile and rewarding career and be able to give back to the community and the city that we live in. So I think that CU Denver was a great choice for me, and we hope that it is for you as well. Sharita?
Awesome. Well, that concludes our event. Thank you so much for attending. And we really encourage you to follow us on our social media platforms, as we will have more events coming up if you want to connect a little bit more to campus and to the students and staff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.